Episode 494.
What's the plan now?
A player asked the question. No one else spoke up. With a whole bunch of guild leaders right here, there was no need for them to discuss it. So, what now? The guild leaders were urgently discussing the very same issue.
With the numbers we have now, a head-on fight, we're probably no match for those guys.
Jiang Yu continued. And when you think about it, he was the one who'd actually fought these guys head-on. Every time it was a total rout. His side got wiped out completely, and they couldn't even take a single one of the enemy down with them.
They might be tough, but what can we do? They just dive into the water.
Tian Nanxing said.
This area is right between their leveling instructors and the grinding zones. If they've been leveling here for the past few days, once the 5-day restriction is up and they join a guild, they can just swim straight over to the dungeon.
Springy Old was predicting the future nobody wanted to see.
Damn it.
The guild leaders all cursed.
Fall back. We'll plan this out later. What are you still squatting here for? You look like idiots.
As he spoke, Tian Nanxing had already turned and started walking out of the woods. Once he moved, the members of Herb Hall naturally followed. The others, lacking any better ideas, withdrew as well. Securing a kill here was proving difficult. The best they could do was have people in the various leveling zones stay alert.
Let's see if we can catch them somewhere else.
On the way back, the guild leaders continued their discussion.
The problem is, what if they just keep grinding here and never leave?
Chun Yi Lao said this, and the group fell into a heavy silence. Things like supplies or repairing equipment, no one even brought those problems up. A lone hero would have had to head back to the main city to deal with these kinds of problems. But now, we're all guilds, all teams. These issues are no longer problems at all. You can just have someone else handle the labor. And as for completely cutting off their supply lines, no guild, no matter how large, has that kind of control. The group left the Thousand Wave Lake leveling area and had walked halfway back without settling on a plan. Suddenly, a voice from within the crowd piped up, sounding puzzled.
Where are we headed now?
The guild leaders at the front all heard it, and they paused in unison. After a moment of confusion, they all spoke up.
Back to the city?
What's in the city?
Something else?
The question hung in the air, and the guild leaders' faces instantly fell. They'd mobilized all this manpower for an operation, only to end up slinking back to the main city with their tails between their legs. No follow-up, no nothing. It was downright humiliating.
Shut up! Shut up!
The one who asked too many questions was promptly given a private talking to by his guild leader.
Nothing for now.
In the end, Springwell Old was quite straightforward in stating his position. Their discussion along the way hadn't produced any real plan. He was sure that even if they kept walking all the way to the main city, they wouldn't come up with a result.
If there's nothing else, maybe we should go leveling first.
Someone suggested, getting right to the heart of the matter. Guild players usually level up in parties. Since they need to level now, of course the guilds would split up and do their own thing. But if they scattered now, the fragmented state of each guild's forces would be instantly exposed.
Whatever. Disband the team.
Springing Old was too lazy to bother with the details. As the team leader for this run, he promptly disbanded the main group. The individual squads, now operating independently, were organized by their respective guilds. The teams scattered, breaking into small groups of 2s and 3s before drifting apart in all directions. It was a scene of utter desolation.
We can't just let it end like this, can we?
The team had disbanded for now, and its members had gone their separate ways, but the discussion group outside the game was still active. Tianxing had immediately chased over here to speak.
If you have a plan, just say it.
Jiang Yu's tone clearly betrayed his irritation. Tianxing remained silent. If he had a solution, he would have said so long ago.
We'll talk if there's a problem.
Spring's End wrapped things up succinctly. If something came up, they'd talk about it later. Otherwise, there was no point wasting any more breath. So the discussion group fell silent, and the players who had scattered after disbanding the team also had nothing to say for the moment. Time flew by, and soon it was the evening gaming peak. The servers were packed, and the guilds were at their most active. As the guild's elite, they were a formidable force when gathered. But back in the guild, each one of them was a leader who could hold their own. Everyone quickly got busy, and in the blink of an eye, it was past midnight. The number of online players gradually dwindled. Once a guild grows, its leaders and elites can't just bury their heads in leveling. There are always guild matters that need handling. Take going after Qiancheng, for example. Even though they ended up getting their faces rubbed in the dirt, it still technically counted as handling guild business. It was only after the crowds thinned out in the early morning that these players finally had a chance to focus on leveling. With the dungeon attempts reset, they smoothly formed up their parties and began heading toward the dungeon entrance. Guys like Spring Herb, they came to the new server specifically to handle problems. Leveling up, that was never on their agenda. At that moment, they weren't even logged into the 10th server, but were instead on their main accounts in the Heavenly Domain.
Damn it.
In the discussion group, Zhang Yu suddenly popped up and called out. This discussion group had grown far larger than before. It was no longer just the three major guild leaders, Zhang Yu and the others, debating inside. Guilds like Misty Rain, upon learning the news, also began to take charge personally and were invited to join this discussion group. The 10th server's guild leader seemed utterly insignificant within this discussion group.
Gotta get the work done anyway.
The one who answered Zhang Yu was Windhowl's guild leader, Horse-Treading West Wind, who was currently organizing his guild members for a dungeon run in the Heavenly Domain.
Which dungeon are you guys running tonight?
The Misty Rain guild leader, Misty Rain Locked Tower, asked.
The tower within a tower. We're only at 37% progress for the week.
Mata Shifeng continued. The tower within a tower, he mentioned, was one of the largest dungeons. It only refreshed once a week, and a single run could accommodate an entire raid group, 100 players. The dungeon is extremely difficult, and the campaign is exceptionally long. Teams typically fight to a certain point each day, save their progress, and then continue from there the next day. This is a feature the system specifically provides for large-scale dungeons.
37%, huh? That's cutting it close. We're gonna be grinding all night, aren't we?
Misty Rain Locktower said.
It's all up in the air. Most of the team this time are from the substitute squads. We've already lost 22 people at 37% progress. I'll be satisfied if we can push it to 75%.
As Horse-Treading West Wind spoke, the two guild leaders paid no heed to Zhang Yu's sigh of concern for the 10th server's situation, and instead started discussing a dungeon in the Heavenly Domain. While they were indeed competitors, aside from a few sworn enemy guilds, most didn't start seeing red the moment they met. It was becoming more and more like the style of the professional scene. You fought tooth and nail on the field, but off the field, everyone seemed like friends.
You two, this discussion group isn't for that.
Zhang Yu was clearly getting annoyed.
With three great guild leaders here, all we have to do is cheer from the sidelines. What could we possibly do about it?
Misty Rain Locktower said.
Disdainful.
Unable to think of anything to say, Zhang Yu just typed a random character to express his mood. Just as the silence stretched, another name popped up in the chat. It was only the branch leader of the 10th server, 100 Blossoms Team's Bidan. He sent an angry emoji, followed by a line of text.
Our guild's dungeon team was wiped out.